Well, Nick, here at Leeward Park. Yeah, right up the first programme then. We talked from James and Paul. Some good tips there.
Yeah, definitely. Got the sleeping well. The park suggested some great food in the pub. I think it shows the benefit of talking to the local fans on these podcasts.
Absolutely. Looking forward to the Coventry one, which will be coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, definitely. Got that. Got some really good and long-standing Coventry fans with us for that particular podcast.
Looking forward to that one. What about today? How do you think it'll go for us?
I'm expecting a full. I think the players will be fired up. Certainly after the departure of him to them. I think the players will probably be fired up today. Great to see Fitzgarden starting. Great to see Pelham in the squad from day one. Looking for a good 4-1 win today.
Yeah, it looks like a strong setup and team. And I do will want to be going into this.
Yeah, it's quite Campbell to probably score and do his famous shush to the away end. But yeah, 4-1 win. Looking forward to it. Into the international break with 3 points in the bag, and then straight into Coventry away and ready for another away day podcast recording.
With, of course, another son to join. He will
definitely.
I think it's coming up.
Definitely. Yeah. On the road, City. Here we go.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, wasn't quite 4-1 against Blackburn, but we did get a win. Must be feeling good about that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, my 4-1 prediction was a little bit off, but another great away win. 3 on the bounce away from home, which, as we both know, is super unusual for Norwich of recent years.
Yeah, it must be years since we started an away campaign like that.
Yeah, definitely. I can't remember it, to be fair. So it's been good. Been good on the road, and obviously up next we've got Coventry away as well, so another away game.
Absolutely, and one of my favourite away venues, simply because it's probably one of the easiest grounds for me to get to. Flight into Birmingham, 10-minute train journey, and you're there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and as you know, where I am on the sort of Northants-Cambridgeshire border, it's less than an hour's drive for me as well. So probably my closest game of the season. So yeah, always one I look forward to for sure.
So Canary fans, second episode of On the Road City, with me, Cillian the Flying Canary, and Nick the Driving Canary. Obviously, we don't know a huge amount about Coventry, so we're delighted. Nick, if you want to introduce our guest.
Yeah, of course. So it's my great pleasure this evening to introduce Chris, a good friend of mine, and also a Coventry City fan. I don't hold that against him. In fact, I think all of our conversations start off and end with football, and a little bit of work in the middle. So, great to be able to speak to you, Chris, this evening. A long-suffering Coventry City fan. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me tonight. Looking forward to our chats and looking forward to a game in a few weeks. Well, I shouldn't say that really too much because we never seem to have a good record against you, but yeah, it's always a good game and a good atmosphere. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. And let's kick off then with your journey, Chris, as a Coventry fan. Reflect back if you can on your sort of earliest memories of the club. What cemented that passion for the Sky Blues, especially with the recent ground turmoil, playing games at St Andrews and Sixfields. What locked you into Coventry City? Where did that come from?
It came from my dad, really. My grandparents, sort of local to Coventry, small town just outside in Nuneaton. So went local. Was told to choose a local club, and they took me along. So started early. Probably late 80, probably 89, 90. So I remember the team of 87 very vaguely. Then moving into the years of Ron Atkinson come in and the Gordon Strachan days and Gary McAllister and all that kind of stuff. So I just sort of like, it just made it for me. Going away, going everywhere, going home and away, season ticket holder with grandparents. Like I say, my dad originally, then uncles and cousins and my mum and dad, my mum and sister, that all joined in as well. So it's quite a few of us at one stage. Used to go all over. Unfortunately, I did stop at one point when we went through some rough times. I did miss a few years, just the fact that my football career was going better. So I sort of concentrated a little bit more on that. So I was going up the levels a little bit on myself. So I had a little bit of a dry spell of going up to the Cov games, but then my son came along and unfortunately he's come the same way. So I started taking him four seasons ago. This is his fourth season up there. So actually, I say unfortunately he's got the good half of it. To be fair, I mean, trying to explain to him that Wembley isn't a regular occurrence, and days out like this in these times aren't normal for a Cov fan. So yeah, that's sort of where my journey was and where it is now. Sort of. Yeah, I've always been very family based. My mum and dad are up there still now. They're season ticket holders, my sister, and nephews. So we all meet up before the game, have a drink, and after the game we meet up as well. So yeah, it's just a passion of us all, to be fair.
Wow, that sounds interesting. And in terms of, I mean, I think it's fair to say that from a legends perspective, Huckerby and Dion are both legends for both clubs. Talk to me about your memories of them playing for Coventry.
Yeah, so they've been my really early memories. I remember them coming along, and that is the old school big man, little man kind of syndrome. The big guy with the flick-ons for the quick, shorter guy that run onto it. And yeah, they were some crazy days with Gary McAllister and Mustafa Hadji and that behind them, feeding them. It was just great to watch. Gutty when Huckerby left us, Gutty when Dion left us. We had others come along, but they were some good times, and that was really what cemented it for me. Those years, those 4 or 5 years where it really was like, this is the team for me.
Nick, what were your memories of them playing for Norwich?
I think my biggest memory, and I don't know if it's the same for you, Chris, but every time Hooks got the ball, you could hear the seats thumping back on themselves as everybody was up out their seat, because they knew he was going to drive forward. They knew he was going to get to the edge of the box and put a ball in. And for us, it was either Hooks or you and Roberts that were, just waiting to nod it home or smash it into the back of the net. And to be fair, he put a fair few in the back of the net himself, and almost always quality goals. So I don't know if it was the same for you, but it's that, the thump of all the seat backs going back on themselves as people were up out their seats waiting to see what magic he was going to come up with next.
Yeah. Exactly. It was one of them players that got you up, and you don't get as many of them these days. There's not as many that got that electric pace that run at people and scare those defenders and make things happen. You seem to be few and far between. It's a lot more tiki-taka football now and building the play up, and whereas this is where that passion came from, just watching him drive and wanting to score a goal every time he got on the ball or create something, and that sort of they're the memories I had.
Now, I know we see him quite regularly, Nick, and he still hasn't lost that passion, that's for sure.
Definitely not. I'm going to say we're lucky enough to pretty much see him every week, right? At the home games, he's always there. We'll always say hello. Great memories. He's obviously got his family now embedded in Norwich as well. Passion for the club, but I think you'll see on his social media he's always got a real good passion for Cov. I think he likes to rib the Derby fans as well from his Forest days. So, I don't think he'll ever change. Talking about rivalries, Chris, probably segues us in nicely to the local derbies. I have to be completely honest. I'm not sure who your biggest rivals are, to be fair, where you are in Cov. I know there's probably some beef between you and West Brom, probably some with Birmingham, but where does the big rivalry sit with Cov? And, what are those derby days like as a Coventry fan?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. We're sort of in the middle of nowhere. We sort of make our own rivalries. Like we Leicester with the M69 derby, Villa in the earlier days when we was in the Premier League and that. So it was a lot bigger then. But yeah, I mean, there are probably our two big passionate games when we play them. We've got Leicester coming up again in a short while, I think, just after yourselves, and that's where the real passion is. I mean, I live in Leicestershire myself, so it's pretty tricky as a Cov fan. I moved here when Leicester won the league, so that wasn't the best times for Cov fans. But I love that day, that passion you have on the day, the feeling you get just from waking up in the morning and going to the game. There's that atmosphere that it gives you spine tingles. And I remember playing Leicester a couple of years ago when we came back at home and won 3. It was something else. It's hard to explain that feeling you get with those records. I'm sure you're the same with Ipswich. It's hard to explain and put into words that tingliness. I can feel it now, actually, talking about it. It's not so much a hatred for the team or any person. It's just that rivalry of passion that you just want to beat them because they're the closest team to you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, feel it exactly the same. And we've got the East Anglian Derby coming up soon. We won't mention the name of that lot down the road, but that's just been fired up by one of our players. I think he's now known as the Snake. One of our players has obviously recently signed that lot down the road as well. So that'll just add more spice and fire to the derby. And it seems our players are fully aware of it as well, because they were all going in super hard on Todd Campbell at Blackburn away fairly recently, and I'm sure they'll do exactly the same to the one that's just left to go.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
You alluded to it earlier, Chris, and I know the results didn't go your way, but you've had a couple of recent trips to Wembley, which is obviously every football fan's dream. What was that experience like?
It was a hell of an experience. Like going with my son for the first time. I never got to that my dad at that age, and it was a hell of an experience with him. He the passion. We all went down, family as well. You know, dyed my beard blue as you do with glitter in it, and I can't do my hair as you can see. So we had sky.
We all suffer from that problem, to be fair.
The sky blue beard, the flags out, the scarves out the cars, and going down with everybody. It was just unbelievable. So close both occasions, and trying to explain to my little man that this is not normal, and then him understanding the emotions of football. I think that's where he really got the passion for Coventry. To be fair, especially the first one, he loved Victor, and you know that the hurt and upset, and then the old Man United thing as well. He turned to me when we came back and we were back in the game, and he was like, and couldn't understand why he was crying. I went, mate, this is football. This is tears of joy. This is passion. This is what football is all about. And so unfortunately, you're a Cov fan, you're going to go through these emotions. This is all part of the character building of you in your life. So we're setting off on a good foot. But yeah, so unlucky on both occasions. We play so well. But yeah, what a day. Just great memories. Meeting some of the ex-players up there. There's Mo Cognac and Max Biamu and stuff like that. Having photos with them with my son. It just unbelievable. We did the march to the arch as well, so we had the drummer going with a march to the arch, there was flares going off and everything like that just before the game. It's just everything you expect it to be and more, isn't it? A day at Wembley, even if the results are not the right way, that experience is just something else.
It'll never go away. Yeah,
No.
And there's no way you should have lost that cup final. That's just a travesty. But we won't bring up that because it's probably still quite fresh, to be fair.
Yeah, so, it's still here then.
Let's get on to match days, and I'll probably wrap a couple of questions up in one here because you talked a little bit about your pre-match rituals with the family already, Chris. But for Norwich fans that are coming to the game at the CBS, assuming it's still going to be called that now, you've
still be CBS.
You know, for fans, for Norwich fans that are coming, any must-dos before the game, best places to park, potentially places to not park for the match that's coming up.
Yeah, so where we are, there's quite a lot of non-permit issued areas. So there's plenty of parking around the ground. Best places where, as you come off the M6, there's a first left. There's a few car parking places down there, and also if you go up towards the ground down the A444, as you get to the island, if you hang a right there, there's a car park to the right there, and then just a bit further down, I know where Nick normally parks down at Cross.
Yeah, exactly where I go every time.
There's a playing fields down there that you can pre-book your parking there as well. So plenty of areas around the ground. Just stay off the streets is the main thing because it is permit issued everywhere around there within a good 1.5 miles of the grounds, and they are out in force. So just make sure you keep to the car parks is my best advice there.
Brilliant. So I've been to Coventry a few times, and I've always enjoyed the games there. But for a lot of Norwich fans who may be making their first trip there, what's the atmosphere like inside and outside of the stadium?
Outside the stadium, it started to rock again. We've got the fan village around the far side. Just so as you look at the way stand is, if you hang a right and go up the side of the railway track, there's like a fan village around there. Very friendly. Never seen any trouble there. We do have some away fans that come around there, have a pint with us. Right. I've had some great conversations with people that travel on their own, have a pint. Great experiences. There's a bit of a family bit down the bottom end where kids can go and see how fast they can kick a ball and all that kind of stuff as well. So there's plenty of stuff around there. Get a pint, get burgers. There's all sorts. So it's a good atmosphere outside. They have a DJ and stuff, so that gets the crowd pumping. And then inside, the atmosphere, especially now, it's our own. It's pretty good now. It did dip a little bit, but the atmosphere now inside, especially the start of the game, with live and die in these towns before kick-off, that makes you tingle. It's a hell of a. It's a local band, so it comes from a local band called The Enemy, a Coventry band, and it's quite prevalent to the area. And the words are, and it's sung with a lot of passion. So that's one to watch out for. Then during the game, you'll hear the Mason Clark song, which is To Sway, and the other one that's sort of hit the stands lately, especially when it was at Derby away, was Kylie Minogue, Can't Get Your Head Above My Head. But we don't just sing that; we just do the la 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 bit. Purely for that, to J.D. Silva in the playoffs last year, had a karaoke box in the changing rooms and started it off with that. So it's sort of a mimic of that, and so that tends to get the crowd going.
I had good fun with your mascot last year. Do you remember that, Nick?
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah.
Players come in. I was surprised, though, given what you said about the friendliness of it. That I was always surprised after the games there seems to be real segregation of fans. Any reason for that?
No, I think it's probably just the history. Was it when we first moved to the ground? There was a bit of trouble there, just because obviously there's proximity of the two fans, and then there's some tunnels that go out underneath the train tracks and stuff back to the car park. So there used to be a little bit of issues there, but yeah, it's very, very little now. If anything, you might see a little bit with a local rival like Leicester. There might be a bit more hostile outside, but generally 99% of the time, there's no trouble. It's good. We're quite a friendly bunch.
Good to know.
Even though you normally do us.
And even though it's not a massive long journey for us, I mean, I'm sure some of us might get a little bit thirsty. Been known to happen before a football match. Anywhere you might you'd recommend for somebody to go for a drink before a game.
This is the problem. It's quite a remote place. So you behind the stand there is a bar in the away stand. So you can actually have a pint outside. Like I say, there's a village around the side where there's plenty. There's also Dinner's Brewery, which is around the other side. There is some bars on that, but it's very difficult to get into them. And local pubs are quite a good, probably 20 minutes walk away, and mainly for home fans. So that is probably one of the downsides I would say for the stadium where it is. But I know obviously now we own the stadium, that is being looked at for the future.
So I can't remember the name of the place, but there was a place over a canal that we used to go to.
Yeah. So you go over, I think there's probably the Navigation pub or somewhere like that. There's a few around that area, just over the canal. Yeah.
Cool.
Perfect. I think where I park, there's a little sports and social club as well that's just normally full of away fans, to be fair. So perfect. But we'll enjoy a pre-match drink together, Chris, me, you, and Cillian, and a few others in the little village that you've spoken about already. So we missed it last year, so we need to make sure we get it sorted this year.
Oh, without a doubt.
But I guess one of the favourites and one of mine and Cillian's pre-match rituals is we like to be in and around the ground when the bus arrives. Gives us an early heads up of who's likely to feature in the team. I know it's always super easy at the CBS. The Cov players will tend to arrive probably 2 hours before kickoff. The last ones tend to rush in to avoid the fines and dart in, and the away bus tends to then arrive hour and a half before kickoff as well. Is that still the same this season? I know I've seen you there with your lad a couple of times, but is that still the same? Any changes to that? Because there's a lot of young Norwich fans that also like to sort of meet that bus when it arrives.
Yeah, it's exactly the same as it's every season. So if you look for the CCFC Superstore sign, you can't miss it. It's a big, massive sign. Literally, that's where the entrance is, the atrium, where the coaches pull up. So yeah, like you say, Cov fans will be there early for the players. They have stopped us having photos and stuff now. They try to get the players in a bit quicker, but yeah, there's still opportunities there, especially for the away fans. But yeah, there's plenty of room for you to meet the players and stuff before the game. But yeah, definitely head for the big CCFC Superstore area. You won't miss it. That's the best places.
Excellent. Let's move on to a bit of food. So again, with all that drink we'll have, we'll also need to make sure that we've some proper sustenance, like from hip bands to proper sit downs. Is there any recommendations you have on a bit of footy scrum?
Yeah, so if you want to sit down, if you literally behind where the away fans are, if you just walk up towards where the Tesco Arena is, there's a Nando's up there. There's a few places like that up there. There's Bucks, which is more like a chicken burger like place. There's Burger King and all that kind of stuff up there. So there's quite a few like restaurants up that way. Again, like I say, with the remoteness, it's quite difficult for that. If you go into the city centre, there's plenty of bars and restaurants in the city centre as well, which is probably a 10-minute drive away from where the ground is. But ideally, around the ground, there's plenty of places like the burger bars and stuff that you can get food as well. So, but yeah, if you want somebody to sit down, there's Nando's, and there's, like I said, there's Bucks, Burger King. There's quite a few up there.
Is there any one place in the city centre you'd recommend for anybody, say, travelling by train who might arrive in central Coventry?
Personally, I love the Brazilian. I can always remember the name of it. I can never say it. So Rodrigo's or something like that. It's a Brazilian place where you can literally you have like a 2-hour sit-in, and I think Nick's probably been there. And you have like a beer mat which got green and red on it, and literally you just leave it green, and they come round and they just carve off all the meat to you.
Does that sound familiar, Nick?
I know we've known each other about 5 years now, Chris, and you know me far too well. I've been to a few of those. We've got one Estabulo that's on the riverside near Norwich as well. So Cillian and I we like to frequent those establishments, and I've done the London O2 Arena version of the one that's in Cov. I've not done the Coventry one, but yeah, we do like a meat barbecue. We are definitely meat lovers. And I've got my vegetarian daughter with me every home and away game. It sometimes is a little bit difficult, but the vegetarian options aren't too bad there either, to be fair.
There's just other bar for us.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Chris, for jumping on to the pod with us this evening. Super grateful for you taking the time out to reminisce of your love for Coventry City. Your passion, where it's come from, and like I say, super grateful for you taking the time out to explain to people listening to the podcast the places to go, the places to not go, making that journey to the CBS even more enjoyable. Really looking forward to the game. Like I say, it's one of my sort of highlight away days. I think that, and a couple of the London games. Olivia loves the games in London on the train, but yeah, it's always one of my highlights. Super easy to get to. Always home early as well, which just makes for a better weekend. As you say, Norwich have had the better of the fixtures the last few years, but it's great to be heading back there really soon.
And like I say, I think just one thing to watch out for is just after the game that the roads are closed off for around 40 minutes just to get all the fans out. And then obviously the away buses go out first, and then they'll open all the roads back up for the car park. So just have a little bit of patience on that side of it. Just take a little bit of time, but just for safety reasons, just for that highlight for your fans if they're not aware. The roads are closed for around 40 minutes after the game, just for safety reasons. So grab a pint.
Roger, thanks for joining. I'm going to segue back to you if I can, Roger, for you to.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
Just talk us through your earliest memories of following Coventry City, I assume at Highfield Road. Where did your passion for the Sky Blues come from? And, were you able to still follow them when they were playing away from Coventry? I think you had games in Birmingham and Northampton for a number of years.
Yeah, that's right. I started, the first game I went to watch Coventry City was back in 1968 when Coventry played Tottenham Hotspur at Highfield Road. The likes of Pat Jennings, Terry Venables, Alan Gilzine, Alan Mullery was playing. I went to the game with my dad, who was not a big football fan, and my uncle played semi-pro football around Leamington, I think it was. And that was sort of my first match that I went to sort of with Coventry City. But then I then continued to go and watch the City with my next door neighbour and his son. His son was the same age as me, and he was a real keen Coventry fan. So I went with him, and that was where it all started. And used to go to all the home games with Dennis next door, and there's a guy around the corner, Bill Sullivan, that used to go and watch with. And seen many years of football. And one of the most exciting games that I went to, which this shirt was worn, was 1977, of December, when Coventry City beat Norwich 5-4.
Wow.
Had to bring it up.
Jim Blythe saved a penalty in the last couple of minutes, but it was an amazing game, one I shall never forget. I say I've followed them on and off since then, and I did go to Birmingham City. I had a season ticket for the 2 seasons we were there. I managed to get a couple of games in at Northampton. I was working over in Northampton at the time, and one of the guys that I worked with as a steward at Northampton, he used to get me tickets now and again, so I did go and watch them, a couple of the games.
Were you there, Roger, when Dion Dublin chipped your keeper?
Yes,
were
We talked a
reminiscing.
little bit, Roger, about Hooks and Dion, and obviously the legendary status that they've got at both clubs. We spoke in some detail about the you could, every time Hooks got the ball, you could hear the seats banging as as people were up out their seats ready for the next Huckabee magic. What are your memories of Hooks
Yeah,
and Dion?
he was a good player. Huckabee was. He was one of those players that just excited the crowd. He could beat a man, which those are the sort of guys that you go to football matches to watch. And very often it comes up on clips still, that goal he scored for Coventry against Manchester United when he weaved around about 3 or 4 sort of top-class Man United players and put the ball in the corner. And, I mean, he had a great partnership with Dion Dublin. Dion Dublin had a good time at Coventry City, but unfortunately he blotted his copybooks a little bit when he left and joined Aston Villa. There was quite a few Coventry fans took offence to some of the comments that he made after he left, which was a shame, really, because he was a good servant to the club. And we've had 1 or 2 since then who have made the same mistake of saying the wrong few words, and it gets people's backs up. But no, Dublin was a great player. But say Huckabee was just another one of those really gifted players that could just do something different. And I'm sure you saw the same thing when he was playing for you.
Yeah, definitely. And I spoke very fondly in my memories of every time he got the ball, you're up out your seat, aren't you? Just waiting to see what moment of brilliance he comes up with next. And that social media clip you mentioned, I think he tweets that himself fairly frequently.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and you can't blame him. It's it's a fantastic memory for Cov fans.
Well, he was one of those players that the sort of way he played football was not out of the coaching manual, was it? He was his own person. He played how he wanted to play, but the way he did was pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
You're surrounded there by other clubs, Roger. Who would you say are your biggest rivals? What's a derby day like with them?
Probably Leicester, I would think, is our biggest rival. Aston Villa, there's quite a deep feeling against Aston Villa, but Leicester for me, because I live just in Leicestershire, and as nice as it was that another team won the Premier League, I just wish it hadn't been them.
Same with you, Chris, interestingly enough.
We've both got the same feeling. We're both in the wrong place, really, as Cov.
Yeah.
Definitely.
One thing I wanted to ask was, for both of you, is obviously, we all go to football to enjoy it. We have the banter, a bit of rivalry, but obviously getting home safety is important. Is there any place or anything that Norwich fans should, or any away fans should avoid in Coventry or not do in Coventry, aside from the obvious?
I mean, the areas around the ground are not brilliant. I mean, I haven't lived in Coventry for a few years now, so it's difficult for me to sort of say. But there's 1 or 2 areas near the city centre, Earlsdon, and that 1 or 2 nice pubs that I would think you would be fair enough going in. But I think you'd be better off going to the smaller towns around Coventry if you wanted to sort of go for a drink in that afterwards.
Yeah. What about you, Chris? Okay. Any areas that we should avoid?
No, I mean, like you say, around the actual ground itself is pretty safe. Nick will know from walking to the ground himself. It's pretty safe, pretty secure. Walking back and forth to your cars and stuff. So, yeah, I wouldn't be too concerned. It's well policed and stuff like that. And like I say, we're a pretty friendly lot. It doesn't matter what the result is. We're down deep. We're all football fans at the end of the day. We understand the game, and as much as you might be frustrated at your team, it's not the other person's fault. It's not the fans' fault, So you take it on the chin. But no, it's pretty.
By the time we've cheered the Norwich players off for another 3 points on the road, and most of the Coventry fans have gone home anyway, haven't they? So traffic's normally cleared by that, isn't it? So
I'd be worried about all those goals we've been scoring.
Yeah. You can't stop scoring at the moment, banging goals in. What's life under Frank Lampard been like, Roger? He's obviously propelled you up the league. It seems to be. I've not watched the games, but if you're scoring 7 goals and 4 goals a game, it must be good football to watch at the moment, Sean.
It is at the moment, yeah. I think I went to the Derby game away, and even when we went 3-2 down, you just got a feeling that they would pull it back and they could beat them. And it was just this season, the matches that I've seen, they seem a bit more controlled. They're not trying to do anything too fancy, and the build-up has been a little bit quicker, which has been catching teams out. Because last season we went through a spell where the build-up to an attack was quite laborious, the sideways passing. But I think this time around, the reason we've scored the goals is that the attacks have been a bit more positive and a bit more adventurous. And he seems to be getting, 2 or 3 players in the box. The midfield players are backing up well in the box, and that's where the goals are coming from as well.
Excellent. Well, listen, lads, I think we're out of time. I really want to thank both of you for joining us this evening, and I'm sure all 4 of us are looking forward to the game. Maybe a little bit nervous about the outcome, but I'm sure we'll make an enjoyable day of it. We've got some very positive comments, Nick, about our first single that we released for the last game, and we're going to play you out tonight with our second single, which is Canary's Crash the Sky Blues. So enjoy that, fans, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Roger.
Thank you.
Cillian's flying high, green and yellow colors lightning up the sky. From Northland's roads, Nick is rolling fast, to Canary together built to last. The Rico lights are burning, the crowd begins to roar. Norwich in the Midlands, knocking on the door. Canaries crash the sky blues, singing loud, we'll never lose. From Carroll Road to Coventry, Norwich pride and victory. Yellow scarves are waving, filling up the stands. The Barclay boys and girls are singing hand in hand. Sky Blues try to stop us, but they'll never break through. The city's marching onward, painting Coventry green too. Cillian in the skies, Nick's headlights on the road. Together for the Canaries, carrying the load. Stand on, fists in the air. Canaries crash the sky blues, singing loud, we'll never lose. From Carroll Road to Coventry, Norwich pride and victory. Yellow army stand and fight, green and gold shine tonight, flying and dry.